Welcome to the Live Well, Love Strong podcast. And today I have a guest that's back for a second time. Her name is Kelley Coleman. She's one of my favorite people, and she wrote the book. So, as moms, how we say, I wish there was a manual for this, or there's not a book about this. There is now, and Kelley Coleman wrote it. And she wrote, So This Happened, XOXO Kelley. So, Kelley, tell me a little bit about you and just high level background stuff.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be back. I know we talk a lot of times offline, so even more fun that we can share our conversations with everybody. So my name is Kelley Coleman. I'm in Los Angeles now, and we're still friends, even though you're in Texas. Go figure.
Right?
And I grew up in Ohio. My career before having kids was that I got paid to come up with ideas for talking animal movies, which is an awesome job, but also means I have no real world skills. So there's that. And if transitioning out of that and into writing and screenwriting and all kinds of fun things. And then when I had kids, had planned on jumping back into that and had jumped back into that and when they were very young and was having some great success. And I have two kids. They're amazing. Right now they're 12 and 13 years old. And when our younger son started down the path of, oh, he has a lot of disabilities and he requires a lot of care, then I needed to leave working outside of the house and anything other than caregiving to really focus on him. And
Okay.
while much of my focus,
Oh,
oh,
I didn't want to interrupt. I was just going to say that's a perfect segue to my first question.
I love
Um,
it.
and it's about Erin, and it's why we're here. And Kelley and I met, if you've listened to her episode that was released this past Friday, Kelley and I met in a waiting room at a therapy conference for our children, for our youngest babies. And so, can you take us back to the early days of your parenting journey and what was it like learning that Erin had a whole lot of challenges and a whole lot of disability?
Yeah, so as you know, I'll probably cry at least once
Yeah,
during our conversation, likely now, especially when I talk about the very beginning of our
yeah,
journey. The fact that he is 12 plus years old and I still cry just about every time I talk about it
yeah,
says everything. Um, it not only just sends you on such a left turn when you find out, hey, your baby is disabled, and in my case was literally an infant,
yeah,
and didn't realize then how much I didn't know. And frankly, I knew almost nothing about disability, almost nothing from people who are disabled. And it becomes in our case, I know we have kids whose disabilities check a lot of boxes, including
mhm,
medical complexity.
right,
And when Aaron was an infant, the medical complexity piece was what was front and center. At 3 months old, he was hospitalized for not eating. He got a feeding tube. He had been diagnosed with cortical vision impairment just barely before, and started accumulating diagnoses and specialists and things. And remember, I was writing talking animal movies. Like
I was
I
going to say, I remember
know.
when I met you, you were in the thick of it, and you were so creative. And I remember thinking, I've met this like really fabulous Hollywood creative type, yeah, who I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to be friends with. What do you think this background and your personality, like, how do you think it shaped the way you approached this new world of parenting with Erin?
I think in the beginning, I have no idea what shaped what and how it all came together to a large degree in the beginning. And, the first year or more is such a blur. I think my background in writing and being fortunate to have a career that was fun, I think even though I had to put fun on hold for a very long time because 24 hours, I was like, I have got to keep this human alive. That's the job. I think in the back of my head, I always knew that I wanted to get back to a place where fun
Mhm.
was an important part of the equation.
Yeah.
And some days that's challenging. I just came back from a neurology appointment, a checkup, neurology checkup with him and a blood draw that I'm still like, because those are very challenging when
Yeah.
he's getting those. And at the end of the day, I think I really am looking for what is the fun in this job of parenting, in this job of caregiving. Um, and knowing that even on the days and the weeks and the months when fun is just not on the radar, and that's okay, it stinks, but it's okay, that we'll always get back there.
Yeah, I love that. Guys, Kelly and I, this was probably last year, maybe the year before. I don't know. We've been talking on the phone weekly for, 12-ish years now. And we used to talk about scheduling fun into
Woohoo!
our schedules because we're both list people. We have to be highly organized. We stay, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 year plan kind of thing. And we realized that we were all work, no play.
Yeah,
And so we had to work really diligently on having fun again. And so, that being said, because I know writing is fun for you, not that this, well, let me ask, was there a moment when you were like, I have to write this book? And
there.
okay, let's talk about that. What
Yep.
was your moment of like, I have to do this?
So for ages, I'm a writer by trade and, was getting back into writing, which was terrific. And fiction and adventure and talking animal movies, that's always been my world. And I'm very organized with all the errand things and the paperwork and the caregiving. And many people had said, you should write a book about that. And I was like, no, 100%. I'm never going to write that book. That sounds so boring. And the book that I swore I would never write is now my proudest professional accomplishment. And the book came out of, it came to me by surprise that this was the thing after a few years back, a very long night of Aaron up most of the night and on seizure watch and vomiting and crying and uncomfortable and just a really tough night where I was just there with him. And the next day he had gotten some sleep. There was a therapist that he absolutely loves and it's play for him to hang out with her. So I said, you know what, let's go there. I took him to the therapist and I said, I'll be right next door at the coffee shop. If you need anything, I'll come get him. He was happy as can be to be there. I went to the coffee shop and I said, okay, I have some writing I'm working on. Let's do it. I'm going to like be productive because that's what we do. We're productive. And especially in crisis mode, that's how you get through.
Right.
And so I treated myself to a schmancy coffee and I sat down and I just started crying.
Yeah.
Um, Lack of sleep is really terrible.
Yeah.
Lack of sleep, the stress, the emotion, the I don't even know what I'm feeling, and the relief that he's okay. And I was just crying and thinking, like, this is so hard for me to
Mhm.
balance, especially all of the medical stuff. And I'm good at it. I'm weirdly good
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
paperwork, the planning, and all of that. And how does anybody do this? I'm fortunate I was able to step away from working full time in order to take care of this. My husband is my partner in all things, and he was able to be in charge of paying the mortgage. And just realizing the gaps in access to information, services, support, accommodations, like just the knowledge of how to do the practical stuff that we
Mhm.
all need to do and we need to know this yesterday because our kids' um, livelihood, happiness, future, like all of those things actually feel like and sometimes genuinely do rely on our ability to do really annoying paperwork.
Yeah.
So, because I sat down and much to my surprise wrote what is almost word for word the introduction to the book now as it was published. And back to my talking animal movie career, the book is weirdly not boring. I knew if it felt like eating
Yeah.
broccoli, then nobody wants to read that. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
read a book about paperwork, like gross.
Yeah.
And I knew if it didn't feel like a conversation, then it would fail because it would be another thing that sits on our nightstand and that we feel bad we haven't read because we should read.
Hmm.
And I wanted something that you could understand and you could use and that was about asking yourself the questions with the information in hand to build this journey for yourself. All of our journeys are so different based on our families, the disability, the kids, the location,
Yeah.
that it's really about how to build this for yourself, what the heck all that insurance stuff means, how to call customer service, how to do medical appointments, IEPs, future care plans, um, financial planning of all sorts, and more of we need information that we can understand and use to make this job of caregiving doable. And back to what you were saying earlier, so that we can have fun and just be
Yeah.
parents, just enjoy our
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, I loved how, so guys, I hope if you don't have this book yet, I highly recommend you getting it for yourself. If you're a caregiver, and if you're someone watching this and you know and love a caregiver, this is an amazing book. And I have loaned it out to multiple people who have read it or looked at a certain chapter when they were navigating certain things. And so this is the guide. And Kelley has managed to put, like she said, it's a lot of like really tedious, um, time consuming. I call it just red tape that we have to kind of
Yes.
jump through. It's paperwork, it's
Mm-hmm.
sitting on hold with customer service, it's crossing the T's and dotting the I's on 800 forms, and then also with these people, and you forgot about this office. Well, they're separate and don't talk to each other, so you have to, and it's just this nonstop, overwhelming assault is what it felt like when I was a new mom of like, I have to do what? Well, I thought I already did that. No, we'll need to do it with this organization or with this agency or with this. So there's federal and there's state, and it just is so much and so overwhelming. And Kelley has managed to break it down into a very digestible, readable, um, helpful, accessible book. And what I love about it, and I want to tell everyone how you start each chapter, because this is the part of the book that makes it, I think, more special and less of a how to do book and more of a complete parenting book and a complete guide. And this is the part of the book that I know Kelley wrote this book, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you start off each chapter, and what was your thoughts behind kind of creating the book that way, or organizing it that way?
Yes. So every chapter starts out with a personal story that is related or perhaps vaguely related to the topic and has a picture, often adorable pictures of my children with their consent. And the personal stories that really just show, like, yep, we are all in this. We are all in this together. And I wanted that to be the lead in because I really did want this to be a relationship and a conversation. And in addition to that, I asked a number of people to write letters from their own journey, and Sarah's smiling because hers is one of my favorites. It's
Yay.
awesome. And every chapter, there are interviews with over 40 experts. There are so many templates and worksheets that had been sitting on my computer for years, and vocabulary and like all the technical stuff. But I think having my stories and pictures, having a letter in every chapter from a fellow parent, we even have a dad in there. Dads, that's for you.
Yeah.
Having a fellow parent on this journey, and the letters are so diverse in experience, life experience, demographic, diagnosis, age of child. And, some of the parents are disabled themselves, some are not. And just looking at this, like you said, as a whole parenting guide,
Yeah.
because without the emotion behind it, oh my God, this paperwork is horrible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
feel connected, um,
Hmm.
it makes a difference. And if you see a picture of my kids and Chewbacca, and I am by far the most excited one, it's like, okay, like I can do this. We can do this.
Yeah.
And there's that picture in the book.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And Kelly, guys, by the way, Kelly makes the most fabulous. I don't know if Chewbacca was a Halloween costume, but she makes the most fabulous Halloween costumes for her boys and for their family. And I know there's a picture of them in their Halloween costume in the book. And so keep your eye open for that. But she like makes them homemade, y'all. She's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Superstar.
Yeah, I think in the book, I think there's one octopus, and then I think we have two Venus flytraps, which I'm very proud of. And also of how do you make it for one kid versus the other, where the other needs to be adapted and accessible so he can wear it and function and not fall.
Yeah, Kelly is like like you should follow Kelly just for the Halloween pictures every year. Like that's I stand firm from that because I'm
Thank you.
surprised and shocked. And sometimes she'll tell me, well, in the past she used to tell me, "Oh, I'm working on this." And now I don't want to know. I just want to be surprised when I see the pictures.
Amazing.
So, yeah, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Okay, so, can we talk? This is not about the book, but it is for moms and for parents. And you talked about the early part of the journey and how hard that is. And, you're trying to wrap your mind around the different medical terminology, the different doctors, the different specialties, how your different systems of your body work together. And you went a really long time 12 years without really knowing what to call um, Aaron's disability. And you recently found out. I kind of wanted to talk about that for just a minute. Um, can
Yeah.
we?
We can't, thank you. And I
Okay.
appreciate you asking because I'd be like, oh no, who are we on one
If
second?
not, I will edit it all out.
No,
I should have asked first, but
oh,
I just that was such a moment of joy and also bittersweet and just so many different emotions. But it's a big deal in our community and in our world. And so, tell me a little bit about rare diseases and rare diagnosing and how 12 years later you found a name for what Aaron has in a community.
yes. So it was 4 weeks and 3 days ago, got a diagnosis for Aaron, who is 12 years and 3 months old. So, again, when he was 3 months old, is when he first got hospitalized. And we started the genetic testing then because clearly there was a lot going on.
Mhm.
So, our genetics odyssey really did begin 12 years ago when he was
Yeah.
just 3 months old. And we didn't find anything from the more routine tests. We did a few more extensive ones and finding nothing. And we were fortunate to cross paths with a geneticist who got us involved with a group called the Undiagnosed Diseases Network.
Mhm.
And they were the ones who were able to put a name to Aaron's syndrome. And we had done the testing with them and we did much up to this, but we did full genome sequencing through them,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is basically all the genes of everything and comparing mine and my husband's and Aaron's and seeing what we come up with. And we did all of that 7 years ago
Mm.
with no findings.
Wow.
And I want to emphasize that for so many people who are on this journey of figuring it out and not knowing. Um, science is evolving, genetics are evolving so fast, but you might not have an overall diagnosis. And it can be crucial, especially to access insurance benefits.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Why does it matter? Why is it
Yeah.
important?
Yeah, so it matters for so many reasons. Erin, over the years, accumulated many diagnoses within the umbrella of the girl. He's excessively handsome, which I always say is the most important part. And I write that on all the paperwork because the doctors are like, oh, he's excessively handsome if they read the paperwork. And that's how you know they read the paperwork is you
Right.
put
I like
something
it.
funny in there, right?
Yeah.
And it's totally true, by the way.
Yeah.
So had accumulated all of those diagnoses over the years that are 100% accurate, and
Mhm.
any anyone meeting Aaron and diagnosing him would understand those are totally accurate. But still, the overall genetic diagnosis, we just got a few weeks ago. It's called Renew syndrome. Capital R, lowercase e, capital N, capital U. I'm drawing poorly and backwards in the air, not sure why. So, Renew syndrome was just discovered last year in 2024. So, when we did those tests, nobody could have found it. No one got diagnosed until 2024. It's now 2025. And people are being diagnosed much faster than with most newly discovered genetic syndromes because the way that genetics is evolving, places like the Undiagnosed Diseases Network, there's something similar in England. This was first discovered in England. And because Aaron, like, he's great. Like, he is awesome. He is thriving. He is the mayor of everywhere he goes. And we are very fortunate that we've been able to access the services, the supports, the
Mhm.
medical care, the things that he has needed to thrive.
Mhm.
So the diagnosis at this point isn't necessarily key to changing course for new things,
Mhm.
but what it has given us is it has given us a community of people. And I've heard so often from disabled adults and leaders and people working in disability rights and disability justice, the impact of being in community, not only with disabled people, big picture, but with people with the same disability going through that life experience. And I'm excited for him to have that
Right.
and for us to talk to these families. And it is wild how many similar or identical experiences we've had, the different ways that the syndrome presents that have been identified, and we've read the lists over and over. All of the medical things Aaron either has or we've checked off and we know that he doesn't have.
Mhm.
And so it was a huge relief to know that we don't anticipate, we could be wrong, we don't anticipate any um, big medical bombshells being dropped on us. He didn't start having seizures till he was 4, and whew, that was a bombshell.
Yeah.
Uh, so we feel like it is information gathering. We know that this was not inherited. This is something that just happened by chance,
Yeah.
and there's nothing that we did wrong or could have done differently.
Yeah. So, just a good message to the families out there who are doing genetic testing and working with a geneticist. You cut out for just a second, so I was talking, but I was just saying it's just a good, hopeful story for people that are working with a geneticist whose children are undiagnosed and who are doing the whole exome sequencing or doing other genetic tests that as technology continues to grow and as we continue to make progress, uh,
Mhm.
we get answers. And so I just wanted to emphasize that for the rest of the mamas out there. And just another hip hip hooray for Kelley and for Aaron that that yeah, we have a name now, and it has been a healing thing, I think, for you to be able to have a name, to know what's coming up, to kind of read what the tendencies or characteristics are, or what the progression is, and to just have more information. Kelley and I say knowledge is power all the time. So
But it's true. It's the this community and the knowledge and being able to, even though I was holding my breath as I was doing this, ask our geneticist, is there any evidence of this being degenerative? Is there any evidence of this being a life-limiting condition? And he said no. And that was just like, okay, we can cry now, in all the best ways.
yeah.
And something I want to emphasize for people who are going down these roads, so many people, as we did, start at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And, my husband and I talk about this now, and you and I talk about this, is this feels like this triumph because we've been looking for so long and we finally
Mm-hmm.
got it. And it just feels great. And if we had gotten this diagnosis when Aaron was a baby, when we were earlier in, it would have been devastating
Yeah, that's
because,
interesting. Yeah,
yes,
the timing is a, I would dare to say a God thing, but I'll let you think
yes,
about whatever you
you
think it
can,
is. But
you can,
yeah.
you can say that. You can say as much God
Okay,
thing as
good.
you want. All there for it. Um, it's, and the reason is, frankly, largely because of my own ignorance about
That's right.
disability, and I will be learning forever. I like to think I've not arrived, and I won't, but I'm on the road.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I want to acknowledge how hard it is, and I know you and I've been through this, of hearing and seeing all these lists of the things that your baby won't do. And I know we've talked about, like, it's hard
Hmm.
sometimes. Aaron just started middle school this year. His middle school experience is very different. He's not
Yeah,
going to be out playing the turkey bowl this year. Like, that's not really in the cards for him. Thank goodness. Like, he might get injured. But
yeah.
just acknowledging however you feel about whatever information you are getting.
Hmm.
Yep, feel that we are here to
Yeah,
heal
it's
it.
right. It's right, and
And
it's
there's
normal.
no like, well, Kelley felt triumphant. Why shouldn't you? What's wrong with you? Nope. Nope. You get to feel however you want for as long as you want, and you'll feel better, and then you'll bounce back there. And as you remind me all the time, like, this is not linear.
That's
And
right.
oh my goodness, wouldn't that be nice?
Would it be
So
so
great.
cool if we just like were going down a linear path and then just had to like check, check, check.
Yes.
Okay, we did that box. Check, check.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that
also, if
would.
we checked enough boxes, if we could just get a free pass moving forward, we
If
ought to be
that's
able
the
to talk
case,
about
Kelley and I would be so far away, no one would be able to see us.
that.
Right? We tried that already. It doesn't work. That's
Checked a
right.
lot of boxes. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love it. Okay, all right. Let's talk a little bit about what you're doing, Kelley, to live well and to love strong. We talked a little bit about what it means on the last podcast, but what are you doing personally in your life or within your family to live well and love strong?
So first of all, and this is totally true, is talking to you on the regular. I remember years ago that was having a quiet morning, and after feeling just bleh, because we do that. Also, not just because we're kids, because of life.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I feel better every single time I talk to Sarah. And so I called you up. I'm like, can we just like schedule a call for every week? And I think it's so important to have those little things that you look
Hmm.
forward to that gives you connection. And whether that is a walk by yourself, a
Hmm.
conversation or in person with another person, whether that is taking yourself out for fancy coffee once a month or whatever it is, always having something to look forward to that you feel like
Mm.
is reliable is huge. And right now I'm in this mode of kind of figuring out what I'm doing for fun and spending more time with friends, getting out of the house and doing things with our kids, swimming whenever we can, because that's something we can all be doing together. And really looking at what that is, I was looking at a martial arts studio the other day, and they have a class that is self-defense and swords. And I'm
I
like,
like it.
heck,
Yes.
I need to learn wielding sword. Probably dangerous for me to do, but cool. I want to do that. And the other day I made the executive decision that Sean had a day off of school, my older son, and we are going to Disneyland. So we spent
Yeah.
15 hours at Disneyland,
Oh, I
and
love that.
my pedometer says I clocked over 10 and a half miles. So I'm getting my steps in and I'm going to Disneyland.
Love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. Y'all, Kelley Coleman is amazing. She is a mama that you need to follow. Where can they find you, Kelley?
Yes, you can find me the easiest places through my website, kelleycoleman.com. It's Kelley, Coleman.com. It has my social media. Instagram, Facebook are Hello Kelley Coleman, Kelley. We have a bonus E. And if they're hanging out with you, they'll probably figure out where to find me as well.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm coming to find you soon. I need a California trip and a hug from my friend. So
Ditto. If Texas will have me back, I want to come back.
that's right. Oh my God, I can't wait. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on for the second time. And guys, check out Everything No One Tells You About Parenting a Disabled Child by Kelley with a bonus E. Coleman. All right. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
You're welcome.